Imagine a time of peace, love, and freedom, abruptly shattered by a horrifying string of murders, all linked to a single, enigmatic figure, the Zodiac Killer. This was the late 1960s, a time when the world was in flux, with the winds of change sweeping across the social landscape. Yet, amid the swirling tide of counterculture and liberation, a sinister shadow began to emerge, casting a chilling pall over the San Francisco Bay Area. This shadow took form as the Zodiac Killer, a name that would soon inspire fear and intrigue in equal measure. The Zodiac made his first known strike on December 20, 1968, claiming the lives of two innocent teenagers, David Arthur Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen. Their deaths marked the grim inauguration of a reign of terror that would grip the Bay Area and the nation at large. Just as the decade was closing, the Zodiac Killer began his terrifying reign. With the dawn of 1969, the Zodiac Killer did not only claim lives but also left a chilling signature. As the new year rung in, the Bay Area was not only left to grapple with the brutal killings but also with a series of chilling letters and cryptograms sent to the media. The letters, often gruesome in detail, were laced with a cryptic code that seemed to taunt the very fabric of society. The Zodiac Killer was not just a murderer, he was a showman, a puppeteer pulling the strings of public fear and fascination. He reveled in the terror he instilled, feeding off the media frenzy and the public's morbid curiosity. And in this twisted game, the letters were his stage. As the correspondence continued, it became clear that the killer's need for attention and control was as insatiable as his thirst for blood. His letters were a direct challenge to the authorities, a gauntlet thrown down in defiance. He taunted the police with his cryptograms, daring them to untangle his web of clues and catch him if they could. And as if this open mockery wasn't enough, the Zodiac upped the ante with threats to increase his killing spree. These weren't just empty words. The body count was rising, and each new victim became a gruesome testament to the Zodiac's growing audacity. Yet despite the terror, the public was transfixed. The letters and cryptograms became a morbid fascination, a macabre puzzle demanding to be solved. The media, law enforcement, and amateur sleuths alike poured over the Zodiac's cryptic messages, hoping to crack the code and unmask the killer. But the Zodiac remained elusive, always one step ahead, leaving behind a trail of blood and cryptic breadcrumbs. The Zodiac had made his mark, a chilling, cryptic signature that would haunt the public and investigators for years to come. And so, the stage was set for a game of cat and mouse that would span decades, with the Zodiac Killer always lurking in the shadows, his cryptic calling card a constant reminder of the horror he inflicted. As the body count rose, so did the efforts to unmask this elusive predator. This was a manhunt unlike any other. The Zodiac Killer had struck fear into the hearts of Californians, and the hunt to find him had become a top priority. The case was unique, complex, and chilling, capturing the public's attention like a macabre spectacle. The investigation intensified, with multiple law enforcement agencies joining forces in an attempt to bring this terror to an end. Detectives pored over evidence, chasing a ghost through the foggy labyrinth of San Francisco's streets. The FBI, local police departments, even the military were all part of this relentless pursuit. The sheer scale of the operation was unprecedented, a testament to the Zodiac's cunning and audacity. The public's fascination grew, a morbid curiosity that was both repelled and irresistibly drawn to the unfolding drama. Fear hung in the air, a palpable tension that twisted normalcy into a chilling tableau of dread. The Zodiac was not just a killer, he was a specter haunting the collective subconscious, a nightmare that refused to end. As the hunt unfolded, several key suspects emerged, each one a possible face behind the Zodiac's cold, cryptic persona. One by one, they were scrutinized, their lives turned inside out in the quest for answers. Despite the mounting pressure, these suspects were eventually excluded, their innocence underscored by a lack of definitive evidence or a solid alibi. Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester, was perhaps the most notable of these suspects. Despite being interrogated and searched multiple times, no direct link to the Zodiac crimes could be established. Allen's story is a stark reminder of the many dead ends and frustrating roadblocks that characterized this investigation. Despite the best efforts of law enforcement, the Zodiac remained as elusive as a shadow, always one step ahead. The hunt was on, but the quarry was an enigma, a cipher that refused to be cracked. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror was far from over, and the chilling game of cat and mouse was only just beginning. The Zodiac killer's reign of terror eventually ceased, but his legacy lived on, a chilling reminder of a predator who once walked among us. As abruptly as they began, the Zodiac's killings and cryptic communications came to an end. His sudden disappearance, as mysterious as his identity, left authorities and the public in a state of bafflement and unease. Was he captured for an unrelated crime? Did he flee, or did he simply lose his taste for murder? These questions remain unanswered, fueling the enduring fascination with his case. The Zodiac killer's legacy, however, extends beyond his unsolved crimes. He left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness, influencing pop culture in ways few criminals have. Books, movies, and television series have been inspired by his cryptic messages and elusive identity. His symbol, a circle with a cross, has become a haunting emblem of his reign of terror. His case continues to captivate true crime enthusiasts, amateur sleuths, and professional investigators alike. His unsolved ciphers are a tantalizing challenge for codebreakers. To this day, the Zodiac case is often cited in criminology and forensic science classes, serving as a stark reminder of the cunning and audacity some criminals possess. The Zodiac case also altered the landscape of law enforcement. The inability to catch the Zodiac killer, despite his taunting letters and clues, highlighted the limitations of traditional policing. This led to significant advancements in forensic science and investigative techniques, with an increased focus on psychological profiling and interagency cooperation. Yet the most chilling part of the Zodiac's legacy is the unsolved status of his case. Despite thousands of suspects and endless investigations, the Zodiac's true identity remains unknown. His case stands as one of America's most famous unsolved mysteries, a grim testament to the fact that sometimes the most dangerous predators can hide in plain sight. The Zodiac killer might have disappeared, but his chilling legacy continues to haunt us. Decades have passed since the Zodiac killer last struck, yet his case remains riddled with unanswered questions. A shroud of mystery envelops the identity of the Zodiac killer, a name that still sends shivers down the spine of many. The unknown face behind the infamous moniker continues to elude investigators, leaving a trail of unsolved cryptograms and unfulfilled justice. This enigmatic figure was not only a cold-blooded murderer, but also a cryptographer of sorts, leaving behind cryptic messages, some of which remain unsolved to this day. These cryptograms are a testament to the Zodiac killer's twisted intellect, a grim reminder of the mind that orchestrated such heinous acts. Despite the relentless efforts of cryptologists and sleuths, both professional and amateur, these coded messages are yet to reveal the true identity of the Zodiac killer. Theories about the Zodiac killer's identity have been as plentiful as they are diverse. Some posit he was a disgruntled military man, using his knowledge of ciphers to taunt the police. Others suggest he may have been a disturbed individual, driven by a deep-seated hatred or a perverse sense of thrill. There are those who even believe that the Zodiac killer was not one, but several individuals, a theory that adds yet another layer of complexity to this already convoluted mystery. Despite the numerous suspects that have been investigated over the years, none have been definitively linked to the crimes. The lack of concrete evidence and the passage of time have only deepened the enigma surrounding the Zodiac killer. His identity and motives remain buried in the annals of the unknown, an unsolved puzzle that continues to baffle investigators and fascinate true crime enthusiasts alike. Who was the Zodiac killer we may never know, yet his story continues to captivate, a chilling chapter in the annals of American crime. The Zodiac killer's legacy is one of mystery and fear, a testament to the dark side of humanity that remains to this day an unanswered question. From the late 1960s to the early 1970s, the Zodiac killer held a nation in a grip of terror. His reign of fear marked a chilling chapter in the annals of American crime, etching an indelible legacy that still sends shivers down our spines. The Zodiac killer, a shadowy figure who eluded capture, left behind a trail of victims and a series of cryptic messages that continue to baffle investigators and armchair detectives alike. His shocking actions, from his cold-blooded murders to his taunting letters, have left a haunting imprint on our collective consciousness. The enigma of his identity and the mystery of his motives still loom large, a puzzle that remains unsolved over 5 decades later. This chilling saga underscores the darkness that can reside in the human heart, a stark contrast to our innate desire for justice and resolution. The Zodiac killer's story is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the heart of man, a mystery that continues to fascinate, frustrate, and frighten us to this day.